All right, everybody, welcome back to Channeling Chavez, and I'm here with Ed Levin. Levin?
Levin, yeah.
Levin.
Like love in.
Love in.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that better, actually. McLovin, Mike says.
Basically.
Yeah. Ed, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We have a lot to talk about. So, you are a man of many hats.
Yes, I am.
You are first and foremost, a ghost hunter.
Yeah.
And you are also a leather worker, which we'll get to.
Uh-huh.
You are a DJ.
Uh-huh.
What else?
I am a scout leader.
Oh, okay.
I work in quality assurance for a company that makes medical devices.
Nice.
Or not medical devices, medical, like medical devices, medical tests.
Okay. Where do you get the time to do all this?
Well, working in quality is my day job, so that's how I pay for everything.
Okay.
And
that's also the most boring of all the ones, of all things you do.
Yeah. And then, of course, I've been a DJ for 35 years. So, I mean, I did it full time back in my 20s. We used to work in radio, as I was telling you guys. And then I got into mobile DJing, and then now I just kind of DJ for fun. You know, it's another way to pay for my paranormal activities.
35 years? You must have been like 5 years old then when you started DJing. You're a young man.
I'm 51, dude.
Oh, okay. So
I'm old.
So how old were you when you started DJing?
I was 20.
You were 20? Okay, so you were in college.
Yeah.
Did you do it in your college?
Well, no. So I went to NIU for a year. I actually went to NIU, majored in theater, only to discover that I really didn't like theater people.
Okay.
That much, because they were always on, and
yeah.
I was just like, I'm like, dude, you're from Beloit. Why are you talking like this?
Yeah.
And then and then I came back from that, went to community college for a year, didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself, and I saw an ad for the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, which was over here in Lombard,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, that sounds interesting. I can do that. And so I went to school, got an internship at a station in Dundee, the Dundee Carpentersville area, called 103.9 The Wabbit, which isn't there anymore. Got started as an intern, worked my way from being an intern to being their mobile engineer, going out and doing remotes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started working on weekends, doing weekend shifts online or on air, and then from there I got invited to do the sports for the morning show, and then I got the overnight gig doing midnight to 6 a.m. and then the station got sold to a satellite Spanish network out of California,
mm-hmm.
and that was the end of my radio career, and then I started doing mobile DJing.
When you were doing it, so you said that you hosted a sports show. Was there any other type of show that you did?
Well, I did sports for the morning show.
Oh,
so
okay.
morning,
okay.
Morning drive.
Okay, got it.
Right. So I would, I'd come on and do the sports for them, and it was actually kind of interesting. It was right around the time back in the 90s when they were talking about, as they like to do, talking about getting a new stadium for the Bears,
mm-hmm.
and somebody was trying to bring the Chicago Bears to Gary, Indiana, and that was a huge topic. And I was talking about, you can't do that. That's blasphemy. Can't bring the Chicago Bears to Gary, Indiana,
yeah,
and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, the hotline goes off, and it turns out that the owner of our radio station was actually the guy who was trying to bring the Chicago Bears to Gary, Indiana. And he's like, tell your sports guy to shut the fuck up.
That's great.
Yeah. So and
why would he think that's a good idea?
I don't know. But so yeah, and then I, like I said, I got the midnight to 6 a.m. shift, and which is the weird thing about doing overnight radio is you'll be sitting there in the studio and it's real if you turn the monitors off, it's kind of quiet, or you're just sitting there listening to music and you're like, looking around like, oh, there isn't anybody listening to me right now. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
There's nobody listening to this. Is I could pretty much do whatever I want. And I remember one night I did the I got the live version of Metallica's "For Whom the Bell Tolls" from back when they were in Woodstock in the '90s, and I put that out on the air. And I turn around and I look at the phone console and it's lit up like a Christmas tree, and I start popping off phone calls. We're like, "Oh my God, this is awesome! I can't believe you're playing this." I'm like, so then it became a thing. My 3 a.m. wake me up call.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
that was one of the questions I was going to ask you too. Has there been any like music that you got to introduce to people?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that would be one of them, right?
My musical influences are kind of all over the place. My dad is actually a guitarist in 5 different jazz bands right now.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, he played jazz in high school and throughout the years and stuff. So I learned very on to really appreciate big band jazz and the blues and stuff like that. So in the 90s, again, I kind of go back to the 90s, when we had all these bands coming out like Cherry Poppin' Daddies and,
the swing,
Zoot Suit
the
Riot
90s, the 90s swing music.
The electro swing and the Stray Cats and all that type of stuff. I got really big into that. And of course, being an 80s, 90s kid, I'm big into, Guns N' Roses and AC/DC
Sure.
and all that. And I dip a little bit into country, when country started being a little bit more rock and roll-ish.
Yeah.
And of course I do like some of the old school rap stuff like that. But and then because I was a theater kid,
Mm-hmm.
so I played football in high school, but I also did theater my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And because I was a theater kid, I also got really big into that. So Phantom of the Opera, Les Mis, so all these type of things are on my playlist.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 kids, and the oldest one is 24, the youngest one is 18, and of course they've kind of followed suit to my musical taste and my wife's musical taste. And my daughter will be sitting there jamming to like some 80s rock and stuff, and her friends will be like, "What are you listening to?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "What are you, crazy? This is a classic."
It's always like the previous generation that doesn't understand
Right.
I'm sorry, the newer generation that doesn't understand the previous generation's music.
Yeah.
You said your dad was in a couple different jazz bands.
Yeah, he's in
Are
5 or 6 different jazz bands right
Are
now.
you into jazz as well? Because I'm really into jazz.
Oh,
actually. Yeah.
In fact, when I have to spend the night in strange places,
Mm-hmm.
I actually will put my headphones on and listen to jazz. In particular, I really like postmodern jukebox.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
And I'll listen to Tony Bennett, that, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, all of them. And that's what I like when I spend the night at Broadhead Manor.
Yeah.
Because I'm there usually a couple times a year, spending the night. I'll put that on my headphones and just dead to the world.
So the ones that you just named, that's more like 50s jazz. That's
Yeah.
I feel like that's when jazz becomes a little bit more upbeat.
Yeah, 40s, 50s, 60s,
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. I like Benny Goodman, all
Sure.
those.
John Coltrane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get into the Kenny G stuff. That's just too much.
Nobody gets into Kenny G.
That's just too much flute.
I think Kenny G is his own genre.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you were DJing. So do you do any DJing now?
Yeah, I like I said, I've got a mobile DJ company. It's called Boogie Nights Entertainment. I started that 15 years ago with my brother-in-law, and it's just like I said, it's how I do fun money.
Yeah.
I don't charge a lot for my DJing. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that when they do weddings, they charge $1,200, $1,500, and I'm just like, you know what, $100 an hour. So 6-hour wedding, pay me $600.
That's really good.
If I've got to bring out a little extra equipment because you want to have your service in a different room from where the reception is, and I got to bring another, I'll charge like a $50 fee on top of that, or if you want my extreme lighting package, I've got to bring out more equipment, then I'll charge like an extra 50 or $100 for that. I also do karaoke. I actually have a permanent DJ booth set up at Broadhead.
Oh, Broadhead Manor in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
So when we do like parties and stuff up there or whatever, I've got it all set up so I can DJ and do karaoke and stuff up there.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
For the people, the Broadhead Manor is like it's a haunted location. A lot of ghost hunters they go there.
Yeah.
A lot of people got their start there.
Yeah, actually, my team started there.
Oh, okay.
So I've been DJing, switching gears. I've been ghost hunting now for, probably 10, 12 years now. I started off with on a different team as most people do. And then about 2.5, just under 3 years ago, I decided I wanted to branch out and start my own team.
Yeah.
So I started talking to some of the people I knew in scouting and some of the people that I worked with. I was working at Abbott Labs at the time. We were working at a facility in Gurnee where they we're making the Binax Now COVID tests. Okay. So I would start talking to some of my coworkers, like, wait, you're a ghost hunter? Yeah. And so I'm like, yeah, I've been thinking about starting my own team. So I'm like, well, let's go ahead and invite a bunch of people up to Broadhead and see how they do. And that's basically how we became who we are. And it's funny because, I'm bringing a group of like 10 to 12 people up to Broadhead, and Bill's like, all right, what's the name of your team? I said, well, it's just a group of friends from work. I said, I don't really have a name. He goes, oh, come on, you got to have a name. What's the name of your team? I'm like, Spirit Hunting Investigation Team. He goes, so you're shit paranormal? Yes, we are.
So that was the name of your first group?
That was the name. That was the original name of Spire.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then and some of the people that are on the team are teachers, because I knew them through scouting and stuff like that. They're teachers. Like, we can't wear a T-shirt that says "shit paranormal" to work. I'm like, all right, we'll come up with another name. So then I'm sitting there. I'm like, and so SPIRE actually stands for the Society for Paranormal Investigation, Research, and Evidence.
Okay.
I am very much into. I'm not crazy about the term ghost hunter.
Sure.
I like to use the name paranormal investigator better. Mm-hmm. But of course, a lot of people are like, I'm a paranormal investigator. You're a what? Ghost hunter. Oh!
Right, yeah.
Type thing. So SPIRE, Society of Paranormal Investigation, Research, and Evidence, or SPIRE for short, because that's a whole big mouthful. And really, my idea behind building the team, besides just having the team that we have, is I did want to make it turn into something bigger, a society, whether you're an independent investigator or, you're part of another smaller team, or, you just want to collaborate with other people. I wanted it to be a community where, if somebody's like, hey, I'm an independent, I want to go investigate, this place, but they're telling me that it's $200 for a minimum of 6 people, and it's just me and my buddy. Can you come out and investigate with us? Yeah. So so we've got our main team, and then we've got kind of our extended family of investigators that we will investigate with and stuff like that. And we've done a lot of collaboration investigations in that way, and I've got a Discord server where anybody can join the Discord server. We do have a section that's just for SPIRE team members, mm-hmm. but then we've got the public section of our Discord server, and there's times that I'll actually bring up the Discord server and we'll actually do live evidence review online.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's actually, I don't think a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
Rob, do you want to check if you have any comments or questions?
We actually were checking throughout.
Oh, so is there anything there?
It's just
Hi, Crystal, and the
Hey,
other
Crystal.
people watching. Um,
Did Crystal have a question? No.
No, she just said hi, and I can hear you. It works.
Thanks, Crystal. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody that's watching.
so,
But wait, hold on, because so you with ghosts extends even further back than before your team. You've had experiences.
yeah,
So
yeah. I grew up in Mishawaka, Indiana.
Okay.
The house that we lived in was 100-something-year-old farmhouse, and
Mishawaka, Indiana.
Mishawaka,
Where's
Indiana.
that at?
It's right next door to South Bend, Indiana. South
Okay,
Bend is
so-
where Notre Dame College is.
Is this northeast or northwest Indiana?
Northeast.
Northeast.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and I always make the joke that Mishawaka is like the armpit of South Bend. Mishawaka is a nice town, but
We love the people of Mishawaka.
oh yeah, we love Mishawaka, Indiana.
None of them listen to this, but we love them.
But so that I grew up in this old farmhouse, and I remember waking up as a kid, like on a weekend or whatever, and hearing like voices, like people talking somewhere in the house, and getting up thinking my parents had neighbors over, or they had the TV on, or was listening to a radio or something. I'd wake up, I'd walk around the house, nobody else was up. It was just me, and there was just constant voices in this house. And then I'd see things out of the corner of my eye. There was a coal chute down in the basement from when they had a coal burner down for the heating in the house, which always creeped me out type thing.
How old were you?
Well, I from the time that I was born until
Okay.
I was 13 years old.
Okay,
we lived
yeah.
in this house. And then my sister she said that she actually remembers seeing like kids in her room, waking up and seeing like two kids wearing 1920s type clothing standing at the foot of her bed staring at her. My parents' original bedroom was up in the attic, and something about the closet up in the room always creeped me out, like just totally creeped me out. And I remember, seeing shadows in the barn because we had a barn, we had a pony, type thing. And I remember seeing shadows in the barn and things like that. And then I want to say probably about 10 years or so. Well, actually, we'll kind of put that on hold for a second. So then my wife and I, when we were first married, in 98, we bought a house in Hanover Park. And it was one of those bungalow style houses.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically a vacation bungalow, I guess, back in the 20s.
Okay.
The thing was built in 1925 or something like that. And it was originally a one-floor house with an attic. The guy we bought it from was a contractor, so he opened up the downstairs floor plan and made it just like a living room and a kitchen and type thing, and then dormered the attic and made it into 2 bedrooms. So we had 1 bedroom, our boys were in the other bedroom, and we had activity going on in that house. We actually had 2 ghosts going on there. So we had what was a female ghost up in the upstairs in the bedroom area, and then we had another male ghost that was like in the backyard in the garage. And this guy in the garage was like just an asshole. He would hide my tools. And I mean, like, and I'm not saying that I would forget where I left something and
Right.
and blamed it on a ghost. I mean, like, he would take a set of metric sockets and leave it in the glove box of my '63 Pontiac.
Oh wow.
Which anybody who knows anything about cars, you never bring metrics towards the 1963 Pontiac.
I don't know anything about cars, but how did you know? Is it just a feeling that it was a male ghost and a female ghost?
So it was, and part of it is my wife is sensitive. So she would kind of get that feeling, but also, so we would, the ghost in the upstairs, we called her the nanny ghost, because she would set off the kids' toys if they were doing stuff they weren't supposed to be doing.
Okay.
So like my son would be climbing over the bar of his crib, and all of a sudden toys would start going off and things like that. And then we went on vacation, and they had this little play school grill thing, and it would go off. It would, it'd make noises and talk and be like, put another hot dog on the grill. My turn. Grab the ketchup. All that type of stuff. And while we were on vacation, we had a friend that was house sitting for us, and this thing kept going off while she was trying to watch TV.
Yeah.
And she's like, we lived really close to the train line there, so she's like, oh, trains must be going by and it's shaking this thing and it's making it go off. So she's like, so she goes to try and turn it off, and she's like, okay, there's no switch on it. So then she goes, grabs a screwdriver to open up the battery compartment on it, take the batteries out of it, and then she realized that there were no batteries in it.
Oh, wow.
So so this is the type of activity that was going on in this house.
Yeah.
So then I remember, that year, I think it was either Easter or Christmas or Thanksgiving or just one of the holiday dinners, having dinner at my folks' house and telling them about the weird activity we had going on in the house in Hanover Park. And I'm like, yeah, I think our house is haunted. And my dad, of course, he doesn't believe in it. He's, old school Catholic, doesn't believe in ghosts or anything like that. And he goes, oh, you're crazy. I said, the house in Indiana was haunted. And my mom she like kind of went white, and she's like, what do you mean the house in Indiana was haunted? I said, I would wake up in the morning and hear voices all over the place, and walk around the house thinking you guys were up, and there wasn't anybody up, and there was just, I would hear voices. And she went, oh my God, you heard them too.
Oh wow, yeah. That's awesome.
So yeah, so that so I kind of grew up around hauntings and
so
things
so
like
it was
that.
never really anything that you talked about with your family then, it seems like.
Well, yeah, we never really talked about it.
My with you telling all these stories, my impression is that you weren't really, even when you were a kid, it doesn't seem like you were really scared of them. It was just like something that you didn't understand.
Yeah, it was just things like that don't scare me. Which the funny thing is I can't watch horror movies. Horror movies make me jump out of my chair.
Really?
Yeah, just whatever. But like walking around haunted buildings, I'm fine. I mean, I've been in Broadhead by myself.
Yeah.
And walked around the building, and I'll hear things or I'll feel things, and I'll be like, all right, stop messing with me, you guys. Whatever. I can be in a haunted building and I'm comfortable. I'm fine. Whatever. But and I think that probably part of that is somewhat growing up in that type of environment.
Right.
And then, like I said, we had the house in Hanover Park, and actually what ended up happening was, for whatever reason, the ghost from outside decided to come inside one day and went after my kid.
What happened?
Scratched his face. We were downstairs. My wife and I I think we were washing dishes or something like that. And then all of a sudden, all the things in their room started going crazy. And I actually remember hearing through the baby monitor, "Help!" And then we go running up the stairs, and I'm a big guy. We went running up the stairs. I got to the doorway of their room, and I got pushed back 2 feet. Like this thing hit me like a linebacker and pushed me back 2 feet.
While you were going upstairs?
And just as I hit that doorway, my son let out a blood-curdling scream. Mm-hmm. And we went into the room, and he had a cut on him. And
how old was he?
He was, I want to say, he's like 1.5, 2 years old.
Okay.
And then after that, my wife and I were like, okay, no more ghosts. So we had the house warded and stuff like that. So even now, the house that we live in Round Lake Beach has been heavily warded. Nothing gets in and out of my house. Like I can't test out any of my equipment in my house because it'll just be completely silent.
What did your son's scratch look like?
Just scratch, probably a couple inches. But we had some friends that were big into watching ghost hunters and ghost adventures and stuff like that, and they would have ghost watch nights and stuff like that. And then they decided, Gene Walters, who's that friend, he decided that he wanted to start his own team, so he started 3 a.m. Extreme Paranormal. And he invited us to come out and investigate. He started investigating, invited us to come out and investigate. Of course, we had little kids, so only one of us could go. My wife started doing it first, and then I started doing it as well. And I started buying some of my own equipment. And Gene is kind of one of those guys that he's like, I only want using my equipment on our investigations, and whatever. And I'm like, well, I said, I kind of want to do more.
Yeah.
Than just kind of be a participant investigator. And I started getting a feeling of, I really wanted to become more involved and share knowledge and network and do things like that. And that's when I really decided to start playing around with the idea of starting my own team.
Okay.
And that's basically how Spire became Spire. And I started, 3 a.m. Gene, he does a lot of private home investigations to help families who have things going on in their houses. He's got mediums that he works with, and I kind of took that model and started doing that as well.
Yeah.
That's really kind of what we specialize in, and our bread and butter is helping out people who have things going on in their homes or their businesses that are we really haunted? Am I crazy? That type of stuff. And we'll go in and we'll vet a house, and we'll bring in Chrissy, our medium, and she'll kind of, walk around the place and be like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling this, or I don't feel anything, and then we go in with a certain amount of skepticism as well. If she's not picking up on anything, okay, let's see if we can explain some of the things, you've got going on. You say that your doors are opening and closing. Well, there seems to be a vacuum type thing going on, or you've got stuff falling off your walls, or your off of your countertops. Your countertops aren't level, so that's probably why you've got things sliding off or rolling off. The hinges on your counters or on your cabinets are kind of off kilter, so that's probably why the cabinets are opening and closing. Or, well, gosh darn it, you've got a train running 50 yards behind your house, and every time it goes by, all your dishes start rattling and your doors open.
Right.
Oh, I never thought of that. That's a conversation I've actually had with a home customer.
It doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
So, they were so used to it, they just never even thought, oh, the train's running behind the house and it's causing all this stuff to happen. So, I mean, and there's been times where, we've gone to investigate a private home, and, Chrissy's like, it's the original people who own this house. They love the house. They like staying here. They're fine with you being here. And, and the homeowner at that time was like, okay, I'm good with that. And that's it. And we didn't, and that was the end of it. But then there's been times where we've gone and vetted a home, and we've said, okay, well, we seem like we're picking up on some stuff, and, there seems to be a lot more going on here. Would you like to go ahead and have us plan a full-on investigation? And then they say yes, and then that's when we bring out the whole team.
And how many people are in your core team?
So right now we've got 15 members of the core team.
Oh, the core team. Oh, wow.
Core team.
Okay.
Because not everybody can come out.
Right.
When we go on an investigation, we usually show up with about 6 to 10 of us.
And I only met just a handful of the core team. Okay. I thought I met like half of them, but I guess not.
Yeah. So there's, of course, the big ones are myself and Mike Alsip.
Yeah.
Chrissy Clokey is our medium. We've got Alex Clark and his wife, Diana. We've got another Alex, and his sister, Elena.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Mike and his wife Terry, another Mike, and then we've got Jesse just joined us. Jesse Hawthorne. We got Darren Moore just joined us. Sierra just joined us. And then we've got a few others. Mike's sons, Nathan and Ryan, are part of the team. My daughter is more of a if she can make it type
Right.
person. Plus she just graduated from high school, and she's like, Dad, she's like, I don't mind going on investigations, but I want to, I want to hold the camera. I want to stay off camera, and I don't want my name mentioned because, if it gets around in school and I'm doing this type of stuff,
Sure,
it might turn into a thing. And I respect that with her,
Yeah.
type thing. So now that she's out of high school and in college, she's like, yeah, I might still come out every once in a while, but she's not really that into it.
No, she's too busy in college.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's how we are. We do, like I said, we've got a Discord server, so we do online meetings like every other week on Wednesdays, where we'll, talk about what's coming up, talk about, go over if we found anything in any of the footage that we have. I'll bring that up and show them, or we'll talk about, where do we want to go next, or, we'll talk about our merch store or our website, or, things like that.
Yeah. Did you tell Jessie that you were gonna come here?
Yeah.
Yeah. We just interviewed her the last time.
Yeah, she told me.
Yeah. So we're gonna get that uploaded soon. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to have Jesse and Darren and Sierra join, because I know that they've been in the community for a while,
Right.
and whatever. And I've my big rule is, and I know a lot of teams are like, oh, you only investigate with us and you don't investigate with with anybody else, which I think is the dumbest thing in the world. I'm like, if somebody invites you on an investigation, go.
yeah.
Go investigate with other groups. See how they investigate. See
Well,
what
yeah,
kind of
I
gear
think
they
that's
use.
important. Yeah, people should, investigate with other types of people and groups, because, an investigation dynamic is really important
Yeah,
when it comes to dealing with the other side,
yeah,
because you don't know how that interacts. So it helps to do it with other people.
right. And
You
I've got my influences that I kind of follow along and whatever. Like I said, of course, my primary influence was the first team that I was on, 3 a.m. Extreme.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching Penn State Paranormal with Ryan Buell.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
And how he worked with his mediums.
Chip Coffee.
Yeah, Chip Coffee. I loved watching Kindred Spirits, how they worked with Chip and things like that. The way that I work with Chrissy is actually a lot of what I do with her. I kind of take from Dave and Cindy Kaza, from the stuff that he's done. The Ghosts of Devil's Reach, and the Holzer Files, and the new show that they've got, Paranormal Mysteries and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of modeled the way that I work with Chrissy on the way that he works with Cindy, and that she goes in completely cold. Don't tell her anything about the location,
Mm-hmm.
and then either me or Mike or Alex will follow her around with a camera and let her just walk around and stomp around the place and get a feel for it and whatever. And then once she's done doing her walk, then we bring her back and we'll have that conversation, and she'll be like, all right, well, I picked up on this and this and that. I'm like, oh, well, and then I'll start filling her in on the claims and the stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, once the investigation starts, then she'll kind of be like, all right, I'm picking up on something over here. We should go over here and investigate. And she's kind of called herself or decided that she's my paranormal truffle pig. She gets in there and roots around and finds the ghost. But I also have a very, I've got a very relaxed thing with her, that if we're in the middle of investigating a room and she goes, okay, I feel like I need to go over here. and do something by myself. Go ahead, grab a camera, go. And that's how we do it.
Yeah. So,
And
you watch a lot of those the ghost shows?
I don't watch as many as I used to.
Okay.
But
they've had an influence on you.
they've had an influence because I like to watch and see how they do things, see what kind of equipment they're using.
Yeah.
And I do have the people that I like to watch. I was big into watching Ghost Hunters for a long time. I did watch Ghost Adventures for a while, but I can't watch them anymore.
Yeah.
I just and that's my second rule is no dude bro ghost hunting.
Right.
No running around with like a chicken with your head cut off, going, hey, the thing's evil, type things. We don't provoke.
Yeah.
Or we try not to provoke.
Mike, that's how you got your start, right? With Ghost Hunters as well?
Yeah. I don't remember how I discovered the show, but yeah, that's how I got started as well, watching Taps when I was younger.
Yeah.
And as I was thinking earlier, I actually relate to your daughter with the whole ghost hunting thing really quick. I had a ghost hunting team when I was in middle school. It was called Teenage Ghost Hunters. I talked about it on my episode when I was interviewed, and this one guy found it and went around and told everybody in the school. Well, I was bullied relentlessly, so I stopped. So
yeah.
There's my little some lore about me.
It's understandable, But I think nowadays, if a kid did that, like it'd probably be more.
Well, yeah, it's more accepting.
Yeah.
So that's the interesting thing. So I told you that I'm a scout leader.
Yeah.
I am a venture crew advisor. Venture crew, if you don't know how scouting works, there's Cub Scouts, which is the little kids, Boy Scouts, which is, I think, starts right when they're like 5 or 6 years old and goes in, and then they age out at 18. And actually it's Scouting America now. It's not Boy Scouts anymore because they're letting girls in now. Venture crew is 14 to 20-year-olds. It's co-ed. It has always been co-ed for Venture Crew, but we wear the green uniform shirts, but it's 14 to 20-year-olds. So they're the older, the teenagers. They've kind of done it all, seen it all type things. And the idea for Venture Crew is that they're supposed to be more high adventure, doing more, advanced type activities that the younger kids don't get to do. So they get to go on ATV rides and
bear hunting.
Not bear hunting, but they might go on and do like scuba diving and things like that. So I brought my kids up to Broadhead. My venture crew, and our venture crew right now is sitting at about 8 kids.
Okay.
And I brought them up to Broadhead twice now, and they loved it.
Yeah, I bet.
And we actually invited a couple other scout units to come and investigate with us as well. And this year we started talking about our what activities we want to do this year. And they're like, well, can we go to Broadhead again? I'm like, yeah, we can do that. And they're like, can we go to other places? I'm like, we can do that. I'm like, I'll have to make sure that they're places that are a little bit more safe.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring, I don't want to bring these kids someplace where I know that that like there might be something like definitely evil there type thing. So
take them to the Demon House in Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, no. Demon House in Gary, Indiana isn't there anymore.
Oh, it's demolished, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Just take them to Gary, Indiana for the adventure.
Yeah, the stairwell is at Zach Bagans Museum in Vegas.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it when I was there.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, which actually I've got an interesting story about Zach Bagans Museum too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm gonna try to bring them up to out to Watseka for to investigate
Oh, that's a good
the courthouse.
place. Yeah.
I'm going to
We got to go there.
I'm going to try to bring them out to Freeport for the Freemason Lodge.
Okay. Yeah.
But not only do they want to start doing more ghost hunting activities as a crew, we were actually talking about our because we do a crew T-shirt every year, and they're like, what if we do Crew 96 Paranormal?
Crew 96 Paranormal.
Yeah, so our unit number is 96.
Oh,
so Crew
okay.
96.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, can we? And then they're like, can we start a TikTok channel for this?
Oh, that'd be cool.
They're really getting
Yeah.
into it. So I think that's actually really cool.
That's great.
So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We're kind of in the infancy stage with it, but I'm like, all right, paranormal scouts, we can do that.
Yeah, no, there's so many places that you could take them to.
Yeah,
You know?
and actually, I've been writing a book for about half a year now. It's just kind of right now I'm at the outline. I've been playing with the outline stage of it and whatnot. And originally, it started off. My idea was that it was going to start off as a guide to paranormal conservationism.
Okay.
Which the idea behind paranormal conservationism is, I'm really good friends with Bill up at Broadhead, and things like that. And I hear all the stuff that goes on there. People messing around with their statues, or breaking stuff, or taking stuff, or whatever. And in scouting, we talk about leave no trace conservationism, which is leave things as they are, clean up after yourself. It should look like nobody was ever there. And so that was the idea behind the paranormal conservationism, is you go into a place, you respect the fact that, these spirits live in this space.
Mm-hmm.
You don't take things from there and bring them home with you. You don't, go in and leave things behind, or, graffiti things, or break stuff, or move things around, or whatever. And that idea is now turned into the Scout's Guide to the Paranormal.
Oh, that's awesome.
And because I do, besides, watching all these different TV shows and stuff like that, I do very much approach the paranormal much in the same way that I approach scouting.
Yeah.
Using scouting laws.
Well, that makes perfect
like that.
sense to me. I think that's how it should be done. I mean, the conservationism,
Mm-hmm.
The respect, the discipline, the teamwork.
Right.
It was scouting and ghost hunting go hand in hand.
Right.
You know, how are we with time, guys? What time is it?
42 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. So that and then bringing that to like young people, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I've got a unique way of, well, not unique. I mean, it's the way that was taught to me as a scout leader to investigate, to teach people how to do things, and we call it the EDGE method, which is educate. We basically educate, we direct, and we give them a opportunity to try it out, and then and go from there, and and really kind of let them try things out, and they're free to fail, and we encourage, fail, okay, it didn't work this way, so let's try it a different way. And that's kind of the way that the paranormal, when you're paranormal investigating, and I kind of liken it to fishing. Sometimes you get out there and you hit it right away and you start getting activity. Sometimes you don't, so then you try to switch up your bait, or your gear that you're trying to use, and then you try something else, or you move to a different room, and then you start getting different activity in the different rooms and things like that. And sometimes you just don't get anything at all.
Right.
And that's the way that I teach these kids, and of course any adults that come out with us, when we do our Learn to Investigate nights at Broadhead, or our public investigation nights, is that's how I teach. You go out there, you try doing it this way. If this doesn't work, then we'll try doing it this way. And if this doesn't work, we'll move to a different room and we'll try a little bit here. And right off the bat, I always tell everybody that 90% of ghost hunting is sitting in a dark room talking to yourself.
Right. That is 90% actually. I'd say even more than that.
Yeah.
To be honest, but yeah.
And I love teaching people how to do this stuff. And engaging with, I always bring a Broadhead, and actually Gene from 3AM likes to give me a lot of crap about how often I'm up there and things like that. He goes, did they put you on the payroll yet? But although I do have a staff shirt now.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
But, up at Broadhead, the kids up there, the kid ghosts up there, they've learned how to work with the paranormal investigators and learned how to use the equipment. And a lot of times they mess with us with the equipment too. Like they'll make the equipment do weird stuff it's not supposed to do.
Yeah.
But they're such intelligent entities up there that they're working with us and learning how to use the stuff. And I mean, I'll walk in with a new piece of equipment and be like, all right, kids, I got a new toy for you guys to play with. And right away they come in and start, making it flash or making it do this or making it do that.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome.
Yeah. I haven't actually, I've been to Broadhead Manor a couple times, but not for investigations. So I haven't had the opportunity yet, but I'd love to investigate there at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. But because it's a place that I hear that like more often than not you go and there's, activity kicks up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I've been in there where there hasn't been a lot of activity. Usually it's if Bill hasn't been there in a while, or it usually in the if there's been like a big event there and whatever, sometimes they'll take a while for them to kind of come out, because there was so much people in the building, that they kind of go out to their corners and wait for everybody to leave type thing.
Is that one of your favorite places to investigate?
It is. I love it there. My team loves it there. We call that our paranormal home.
Yeah.
We'll definitely. Actually, I've got to give Bill a call because I want to set up a public investigation in the spring, so we can invite. And maybe you can come out and investigate with us.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love to. Maybe these guys. No, we're not going to invite them.
Invite them.
No, I don't want to invite them. They're not worth it.
No, only I'll go. They can't go.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Is that okay?
No, you can't go.
Oh, don't worry.
What?
Don't worry.
Besides ghosts, are you into other topics in the paranormal?
I love talking about stuff. I've never, of course, there's cryptids, Bigfoot, and all that type of stuff. And actually, I've got a Hodag T-shirt.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because our summer camp for Scouts is up by where the Hodag store is.
The Rhinelander? Oh,
in
yeah,
Rhinelander,
yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a Hodag T-shirt. I've been out there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. We got the Hodag playing cards.
Yeah. And stuff like that. But I mean, I've never been on a
This is where we
Bigfoot
do.
hunt. If somebody invited me to go on a Bigfoot hunt, I would definitely do it. Especially being a scout leader and being an outdoorsman, I would definitely do it. And I love the stories about the Mothman and,
sure.
and my brother-in-law worked as a ramp agent for United for 30-something years, and I'm like, did you ever see the Mothman at the airport? He's like, no. He's like, what is the Mothman? I'm like, how do you work at the airport and not hear about the Mothman?
Did you see that new poster for the Moth Babe? Yeah, that's
there you go.
That's the one I want to see.
Yeah. So stuff like that, skinwalkers, all that type of stuff. I'm fascinated by those stories.
Yeah.
And of course, UFOs. I love hearing all that type of stuff. I actually think I saw a UFO when I was out at the Scout Jamboree a couple of years ago out in West Virginia.
Okay, what happened? What did you see?
So we were sitting there, we were getting ready for dinner, and it was just before dusk. And I look up in the sky, and I see this white cylinder up in the sky, and I'm sitting there watching this thing, and it's just like it's not really moving, and then it just shot off like a bat out of hell.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I should get my phone out and take a picture of this thing. But I was just so like fascinated by watching this thing up there that I just never even grabbed my phone and took a picture or video or anything like that.
It was cylindrical and it was silver?
Yeah, like a whitish silver type thing. And, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a UFO or UAP or whatever we're calling them these days. Or,
no, we're calling them UFOs.
Okay. or if it was something else. But yeah, I remember. And like I said, it looked like it was just sitting there not moving, and then all of a sudden, gone.
Wow.
Yeah. That's my one UFO encounter.
But it didn't spur you to become a UFO hunter, researcher.
And again, if somebody invited me to go on a
Yeah.
UFO hunt, I would absolutely do it.
Yeah.
I know Mike would do it too.
Right.
Mike also from my team, because he's my let's go guy.
Is
You know,
he?
every time I'm like, yeah, this place is haunted. Let's go.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for? Let's go. Supposedly there's UFOs there. Let's go. And actually, I'm wearing my Uranus shirt today.
What is this? Uranus Fudge Factory?
You've never heard of the Uranus Fudge Factory?
No, this sounds like a porn movie. What is this?
Uranus, Mississippi,
Okay.
or Missouri. Sorry, Uranus, Missouri
Yeah.
is a town in Missouri, and they've got their fudge factory. You've never seen the Fudge Factory
No.
commercials?
No.
Oh my god!
I live under a rock, man.
Yeah, I guess so. So that's their whole thing is come to Uranus. We got the best fudge around.
That's really clever, actually. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've been there, obviously?
My wife and daughter were there, and they brought me back this stinking T-shirt.
Yeah.
So I haven't been yet. I do want to go, and it's right on Route 66.
Were you able to eat some of the fudge?
They did bring back some fudge, and it was some pretty damn good fudge.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming there's different kinds, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they've got all kinds of stuff out there. They've got, like I said, the Fudge Factory T-shirts and
Yeah.
all kinds of swag that you can get from out there, and they've got all kinds of signs and things up about making innuendo jokes about the Fudge Factory, and
That's funny. I like that.
yeah. So yeah.
Now, you said that you enjoy the equipment part of ghost hunting.
Yes.
What pieces of equipment do you tend to use the most? Like, what's your go-to?
Strangely enough, my my go-tos are usually the most basic. Mag lights. I get a lot of activity on mag lights, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just they're heating up or whatever, and that's why they turn on and off." But I mean, I've had, I've asked yes and no questions, and then I'll be like, "Okay, turn it off," and just to confirm, go ahead, turn it back on. As soon as I say that, it turns right back on again. I mean, I've had or I'll set two of them out there, and I'll be like, "Okay, can you turn on the one on the left?" Goes on. Okay, turn it off. Turn on the one on the right. Goes on. Okay, turn on the one on the left. Goes on. Turn it off. Okay, turn on the one on the left again. Goes on. All right, now turn on the right one. The right one goes on. So I mean, we've had real time interaction with these things. Dowsing rods. Get and what I've found is a lot of times, especially in some of the older buildings, they don't always like to play with the high-tech toys.
Mm-hmm.
They like to use, the analog stuff, the old analog, the dowsing rods or the flashlights or whatnot. I think sometimes the high-tech stuff kind of freaks them out a little bit.
Because I've heard that before by other people, and I'm wondering if that has to do with, like, where the ghost at, like, where's the ghost, like, in terms of, like, plane of existence. Like, are there different levels? Are they stuck in one level, and that's why they can't use the more techie stuff, and they use, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm wondering something like that.
We were actually up in, again, at Broadhead. We were doing a public investigation up at Broadhead, and we were in the old teacher's lounge on the second floor. Technically, I guess it's the first floor, because the basement, or the main floor, is considered the basement, and then the second floor is considered the first floor, and then the third floor is considered the second floor. But anyways, we were in the old teacher's lounge, and Chrissy hit on a being my paranormal truffle pig, hit on that there was an entity in the teacher's lounge. So we went in there, and we brought REM pod, K2 meter, all this type of stuff, and we were trying to get it to interact with us. We were trying to use a spirit box, and nothing was working. And she's like, "It's right there." And I'm like, "Okay." So I pulled out the dowsing rods. I said, "Okay, I have these dowsing rods." I said, "Very simple. Cross them for yes, pull them apart for no. I want to try to communicate with you. Is that okay? They cross. Yes. Okay. So now we've established that there's somebody there, and I just want to, can you straighten them out for me? They straighten out. Okay. And I just wanted to confirm, that you are here communicating with us. Cross. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Pull them apart. Okay. Are you a male entity? No. Are you a female entity? Yes. Okay. Are you one of the kids? No. Okay. Are you a teacher? No. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, what else could this? I'm like, are you something else that worked in the school? Yes. Okay. Are you a secretary? No. Are you a lunch lady? No. Are you a nurse? Yes. So we were talking to a school nurse. Okay, so you're a school nurse? Yes. Okay. When did you work here? Did you work here in, because we know that Broadhead opened up in 1906. Did you work here from 1906 to 1910? No. Did you work here from 1910 to 1920? No. Did you work here from 1920 to 1930? Yes. Okay, so now we've got a timeline. And it kept going like that, just asking these yes or no questions type thing to try to establish, who we're talking with.
Yeah.
Did you work with the principal, Mr. Pfizer? Yes. Or Feister, sorry. And actually, like I said, my team actually did a lot of the research at Broadhead as well, and we were the ones who figured out who the janitor was, the name of the janitor, and the name of the two principals that are there, and things like that. So the one principal that was there during that time period was Carl Feister. And so, okay, you worked with Mr. Feister. Did you like him as a principal? No.
Yeah.
Type thing. So yeah, and that's how it goes sometimes. It'll in a lot of different locations. I did an investigation actually earlier this year with 3 a.m. Extreme, because they'll invite me to come out on investigations every once in a while. We were at the Will County Museum.
Oh yeah,
I think it is.
I've investigated
just
there.
off the Calsag River area.
Sure.
Type up there.
In Lockport.
Yeah, Lockport. And we were investigating there, and I was down in the basement, and we were trying to communicate. And again, we had the K2 meters and the REM pods and all this other stuff going on, and we were getting no activity in the basement. And I pulled out the dowsing rods and said, okay, I've got the dowsing rods here. Can we communicate with these? Yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So then we started asking the yes and no questions with the dowsing rods.
Well, see, that's really interesting that, you could bring all this tech, and sometimes it's not as effective as the non-techy stuff.
Yeah.
From all the places that this is such a, what do you say, like a shallow question, but you've investigated so many places. You've been doing it for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a place that stands out as very, and before you say Broadhead Manor, I know you investigated a lot of other places. So where else have you really gotten a lot of activity?
Jericho.
Oh yeah.
Jericho.
In Wisconsin.
Actually, I really want to go back there again. It's a church, rectory or convent, and a school. We got all kinds of different activity there. The Watseka Courthouse Museum.
Okay, yeah. I've been there too.
We're the first team to ever investigate there. Do a full-on investigation there. And we got a ton of activity, and we barely scratched the surface in that place. Besides the fact that it's an old courthouse with a jail in the basement where somebody was pulled out of that jail and lynched, and the noose that he was lynched with is hanging on the wall in the basement.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You've got we picked up on a judge there. Plus, on the second floor, there's a war artifact room. So we actually picked up on the spirits of soldiers in there and communicated with them. We've caught evidence of a little girl running up and down the hallways.
And there's various antiques in that building
yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
there's all sorts of things.
There's so much activity in that building.
Yeah.
Not only because of what the building represented in the community, but because of the artifacts. In fact, we got let into the vault of
nice
in there, and anybody who's got any kind of sensitivity, whether they're a medium or not, maybe they're just sensitive to the energy or whatnot. You walk into this vault room, and it's like walking into pudding.
How so?
Like it's thick. The energy feels thick.
Yeah.
It's like you walk in there and you're just like, ooh, and this is where they store all the artifacts that they've gathered over the years that aren't out on display. So I mean, there's all kinds of war uniforms and wedding dresses and books upon priceless books upon books and just all kinds of things from the community and whatnot. And you walk in there, and the interesting thing is outside of the vault, there's they call it the conference room, but it's basically just a room with a dining, like a big dining room table with a bunch of chairs around it, and it's right before you go into their kitchen area. And we have a Trip 30, which is the trip wire that's got the little pucks on the individual EMP or EMF reader pucks on it. You see them a lot. Saw it used a lot on kindred spirits, and we put that around the table, and we were starting to do an Estes method, and we weren't getting a whole lot of activity on this tripwire. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try something. So I open up the door to the vault, and right away this thing starts flashing like Christmas tree lights. Like all of a sudden all these entities start spilling out of this vault, and we're like running around the table. It was crazy.
Were you able to record that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And Mike was he had the headphones on, he was doing Estes method, and he's like, what did you just all of a sudden he's like there's so many voices.
So it happened simultaneously. He was hearing all the voices and the lights were going on. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of an interesting thing. Is it was just like we opened up the floodgates and just they all came running out, and we closed up the vault, and they all went back in.
That's another great place to investigate.
Yeah.
Have you investigated Crown Point Jail?
I have not.
Yeah, I recommend that one. That's a real good one, actually.
Okay. The Freeport Freemason Lodge, we had all kinds of activity.
Yeah.
Definitely want to go back there again.
Yeah.
And like I said, we do a lot of private homes. We did an investigation at a private home in Chicago, and the interesting thing about this private home was that there was a bar in the basement that was originally in the Cubs Bar and Grill, which is what became the Cubby Bear. Oh, okay. And it was from like from 1910 to 1920s. It was in there, and supposedly Babe Ruth drank at this bar.
Yeah.
That's the sign, and there's his signatures on the bar. And a previous owner of the home, which was a retired Chicago firefighter who died of cancer, is in the house still. And we were down in the bar, and he's really attached to this bar, and we're down in the bar hanging out, using the spirit box, talking with him, and all of a sudden I hear this like crack, and I caught the smell of like a freshly opened beer. Mm-hmm. Like just,
so you heard the crack?
Heard the crack.
Yeah.
And just the smell of like a freshly opened beer. And of course, none of us were drinking. Mm-hmm. We're on an investigation. We're not drinking. Right. So I'm like, why does it smell like somebody just opened a beer? And then through the spirit box, oh, that was me.
Oh, wow.
And so we were sitting there talking to him, and I'm like, so we're like, all right, let's do some test questions. So I'm like, ketchup on a hot dog? Never. Green Bay Packers? Suck. Ditka? The Bears.
Oh, it said that.
Yeah, we actually got
Yeah.
got it through the spirit box to say the bears and Polish sausage and all this type of stuff. So that was awesome.
Everything Chicago related.
Yeah,
And then you heard gunshots.
no. Well, actually, that's the interesting thing is up in the attic of the house, there was a couple of wise guys up there. There was
Living there?
no, like spirits.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
oh, okay, got it.
So there were a couple of wise guys up there, and they were like on the lookout. They were looking out the window the whole time.
Yeah.
It was basically what we surmised from the questions we were asking, and Chrissy kind of confirmed that for us that these guys were out there looking out the window and on the lookout. And we're like, all right, well, maybe this was a mob-owned home at one point.
Yeah.
Type thing. And then the interesting thing was we actually picked up on a non-human entity in the home. And he came through and called himself the Blue Man, and he was an imp.
Is this the same home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And basically he told us that that he's there and he looks after the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a small child in the house. But that's what his job is that he looks after the kids.
Oh, wow.
And
do you remember what neighborhood this was in?
Franklin Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So not in Chicago proper, but in the suburbs.
Yeah, Franklin Park. And there were like 2 or 3 cemeteries really close by. So we were kind of picking up on the fact that there was probably a lot of transient spirits that passed through this neighborhood, and through this house as well. When the homeowner first contacted us about going to investigate this house, they shared a video from their CCTV feed in the house, and in their mudroom, and it looked like a woman appeared out of nowhere, like a woman in a nightgown.
Sure.
So that's one of the reasons why we went in there to investigate in the first place, was because we were trying to figure out, who this one was.
Yeah.
And Chrissy didn't pick up on her at all, and she's like, well, she might have just been a transient because of the close proximity to the
Right.
cemeteries. So yeah, we investigated there and answered a bunch of questions for the homeowners.
That's awesome. One of the last things I want to wrap up with is because you've been in audio for a long time,
mm-hmm.
whether it's DJing and then you have your own company.
Mm-hmm.
Do you incorporate this audio experience into the paranormal?
Yes, to a point. We'll play music at various locations to see if we can get reaction.
Okay.
Broadhead, of course, Bill always likes to play a lot of music before people start investigating because it amps up the energy in the building. When we were at the Watsika Courthouse in the War Room, we played some 1940s jazz to see if that would spurn any of the World War II type ghosts. When we were at the house in Chicago, in Franklin Park, we played some 80s rock to see if if that would kind of bring the firemen out to talk to us, or we played some Journey type thing.
That's
and
awesome.
He seemed to like Journey.
Yeah.
So and we'll try when the Will County Museum, I played music there to see if we get any reaction. And I think that music is really kind of a universal language that that if you can that a lot of spirits will react to.
Yeah, especially it's frequency based too. So you have depending on what you're playing, you have a better chance at communicating with the other side.
Right.
But speaking of communicating, how could people get communication with you? How could they get a hold of you?
So our website is theghostlyspire.com or ghostlyspire.com. We're on Facebook under Spire Paranormal. If you go to ghostlyspire.com, it's got all of our links to our Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, although really we mostly just do Facebook.
Sure.
And we do have a hotline phone number on our website and everything. So you can give us a call and leave us a voicemail message. You can send us an email at ghostlyspire@gmail.com. Or send us a message on Facebook or Instagram, and I usually answer those pretty quickly. So if you have any activity going on in your home or business and you want us to come out and investigate it, certainly reach out to us, and we're more than happy to come out and investigate. Right now we've got about 3 private homes that we've been communicating with that after the first of the year we're going to go and investigate and vet and see what's going on.
Yeah, I heard that about you guys, that you guys really do focus on private homes, which is awesome, because not all ghost groups do. When I first started, I thought the majority of them do, but they actually don't. So that's really cool that you guys do that.
And a lot of ghost groups, they just like going out to all the the popular haunted places and running around and doing that type of stuff, which it's fun. It is.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing it. Of course, it costs money, and of course we do this type of stuff for free.
Right.
And that's another thing, is if you do have something going on in your home or business and you'd like us to come out and investigate, we don't charge for this. We do have our merch store, which is the Spire store at printify.com. So if you want to support us and help us to be able to afford to buy equipment and go to travel and do things, certainly buy our merchandise. We've got some awesome T-shirts and jackets and hats and cups and things like that on there. But we don't charge to investigate or come out and do this type of stuff. And like I said, our bread and butter is we like to go out and investigate a place that's never been investigated before.
Yeah. Well, look, when you come back and you have your book, or I should say, when you have your book completed, you got to come back.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the book.
Okay.
But thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And thanks, everybody, for watching.
Yeah, thank you.